Alright, what's up guys? It's GSR here. So let's talk about what is pressure. So a lot of people have this misconception where they believe that pressure is just simply plus frames, right? It's just merely plus frames. So if I jump in with Liu Kang and then do this, everybody thinks that, oh, or at least a decent amount of players that are probably not that experienced, even experienced ones think that peer pressure is just based off of plus frames and that's it. And that's not entirely true. This is not true whatsoever. And the reason why I say this is because you'll have plus situations like this where you're just plus one on block. Now, depending on the skill of the player, that will determine how this match can roll out, right? But I will say plus frames is the first layer of pressure, right? The second layer of pressure is your character having really good staggers. Liu Kang is a prime example of having really good staggers. His back 1-2-4 combo string is dumb as hell, and the delay on this is insane, right? There's literally no flows by gap in it or nothing, right? So that is an insanely good stagger, right? So having good staggers with safe frames is a good idea, and it's also a very powerful thing for your character, because what happens is that it puts the opponent at a disadvantageous position on block. Because say for example, like they're so used to seeing Liu Kang do this, basically his 1-2-3 combo string, right? And you keep seeing this and you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna take my turn afterwards, right? The problem is that Liu Kang's staggers are so good that he creates these type of mix-up mind games, which can cause a certain dilemma for the opponent on the opposing side when you're defending against his combo string, right? And because Liu Kang is pretty safe, he's a pretty safe character to a certain degree, it makes it difficult for the opponent to figure out what the Liu Kang player can and cannot do, right? Now, I've made videos back in the past kind of giving you guys some type of intel of what you can and can't do and stuff like that. And it's all a mind game. You kind of have to think if you're trying to play at a higher level. But plus frames is the first level. The second level is staggers. Your character having really good staggers, or at least a lot of them, your character is pretty dangerous, because what happens is that you doing this is going to give the opponent the impression that, okay, he's just going to complete the string and then it's my turn, right? What happens is that now you stagger this, and now the opponent is probably still blocking, which gives you a free turn, or it's a gamble because you don't know when they're going to respond to that. They might think automatically that you might just stagger the standing one and that's it. But if you can condition them to believe like, okay, I'm just going to go for the 1-2, 1-2, and if you time the recovery on the normals and the combo strings itself, it makes it very difficult for the opponent to pinpoint when you're going to stagger, because it looks like an actual combo string, right? So you, like I said before, I cannot stress this point enough, that if you're doing this, you're technically kind of conditioning them, because they're thinking to themselves, okay, well, he keeps doing that, so I'm just gonna hold block. And then all of a sudden you stop here, and then you steal a whole nother turn, and now they have to deal with a totally different combo string that might have a mix-up property to it, it might have plus frames to it, it might have better chip damage to it, it might give you better situations on the offensive side of things, and now they have to think about that. So what's happening is, like, there's all this shit that's going on in the opponent's head when they see something like that. And if they don't quickly identify that, and they don't understand the frame data, or understand frame data just in general, this can cause a serious dilemma, right? So now we're going to talk about the third thing, right? Which is mind games. Kung Lao is by far one of the best characters in the game that has access to a very powerful mind game. And this can happen with combo strings, but this can also happen with special moves. And for Kung Lao, he is a strike throw character just like a majority of characters in this game, but the difference is between him and other characters is that he's able to get a full-blown combo on you, and he can really hurt you, right? Where it forces you to break, and now you're put into a certain dilemma when you're knocked down on the ground, because now it's just kind of like, okay, I have to guess on when he's going to throw me, especially if he has a KB on his throw. I have to guess, like, is he going to combo me? you know, because his meterless damage is not bad at all, especially if you know how to optimize it correctly and your execution isn't poor. So Kung Lao's mind games are dangerous as fuck. And there's two different mind games that the two main ones I'm just going to show you. One of them is technically breaking neutral, but then the other one is just purely mind fucking you because you don't know when he's going to go for that special move, right? So the first one I'm going to talk about is the neutral breaking move, and this is what a lot of Kung Lao players tend to do, especially the experienced ones. They'll tend to jump in like this, and what happens is, like, if you fold under pressure and you think he's going to do this, right? Or he might go for like a, how should I put it? He might go for like an instant, you know, dive kick, right? To kind of throw you off, right? This is a mind game. He's not only breaking neutral, but this is a mind game, right? Now the reward that you get is a unbelievable punish. Like you might be able to even get a jump in with certain characters if their attacks can curve in enough. Kind of like Johnny Cage's jump in 2, right? So this is a really powerful mind game because you either one are going to try and anti-air him, and that opens up for a possible crushing blow situation. So now when he jumps up into the air, you have to take a gamble because you're not just going to let him keep jumping in on you, are you? No. But there's some things that you just kind of have to just be like, okay, I'm just going to hold block. Or you might read that he might jump in with a jump in 2, right, to get the plus frames to apply pressure. And once he gets in, now you have to deal with the fact that he might do something like this to you. You know, you might end up getting comboed off of this, or he might go for a plus situation to continue pressure. Like, you know, he might stagger and then do something like that. Like, you just don't know. So that's where the problem comes in at with this dive kick, right? Then the other mind game, right, is his orbiting hat, which is the most common thing imaginable for Kung Lao in Mortal Kombat 11, is his orbiting hat. The problem that you're going to face is him staggering the forward 1 a lot, you know, the standing 2. Hell, you might even press a button because he's only plus 1 on block here. And what'll end up happening here, right, is you might end up getting hit with this, right? Now, he has flawless block gaps and something like this. You might be trying to flawless block his forward 1-3, which is that double hitting mid right there that you see with his hat. So what ends up happening is that because he knows that you can up 3 him, because you can't up 2 him, right? But you can up 3 him. The problem with that, though, is that is going to happen, or this is going to happen, or he might just delay when he's going to attack. It's just a whole different thing, right? So I'm trying to give as much detail as possible about pressure because I don't think people necessarily understand that it's not just plus frames. It's not just plus frames that you have to worry about. Now, another thing that people don't understand, and this is the 4th layer when it comes to pressure, right? And like I said, there are characters with special moves that will allow them to get pressure, and Cabal is a prime example of this. Now, here's another idea of pressure, right? I personally believe, and this is just my opinion, and this is the 4th layer that I'm going to add to this, I personally believe that there is pressure that can happen in the neutral. There are situations in this game where it seems as if, like, if the player knows what they're doing, it makes it very difficult for you to respond or do certain shit. And I do believe there are certain characters in this game that have that kind of pressure. You guys might be trying to figure out what character that might be or what characters that might be because I'm looking at them on my screen right now. So I'll give you one of those characters that I believe have really good pressure and mind games in a sense. SHEEVA, I believe, has good pressure in the neutral to a certain degree because her zoning game is actually really strong. Her ability to break neutral with her teleport and close the distance and charge up her crushing blow is actually significantly strong. And of course, the recovery period on it is where it should be, but it's still a really good special move if you know how to apply it correctly. You can't just YOLO and just do it, right? There are other characters in this game as well when it comes to the neutral where their pressure in the neutral is pretty good, right? Now, I'm going to get off of this because I might wait until Mortal Kombat 1 comes out so I can give you guys further detail of why I believe pressure can be applied in neutral and why I do think pressure is applied in neutral, but I'm going to save that for another video. Now, the fifth layer of pressure, and this is the final one. I might be missing one or two more, but I think this is the last one. I could be wrong. Is mix-ups. Mix-ups, even though I do think it's brain dead, okay, because you're putting me in a situation to where like it's almost guaranteed that you're gonna open me up, and I would have to read your patterns when you go for those mix-ups. Like, okay, he has a habit. Everybody has a habit, right? Which I'll probably show off in another video explaining that as well, because I want to help you guys out as much as possible if you are trying to improve. Everybody has a habit where they're doing the same thing over and over again every now and again, and the player with a lot of experience is going to experience that. Even experienced players have habits, right? That can be identified by other high-level players or people who are close to that level or that skill level, right? So the last layer, like I said, is mix-up characters. SHEEVA's a perfect example of this. She is a real mix-up character in this game. And the reason why I say this is pressure is because, like, you're still blocking, aren't you? Like, you still have to guess, aren't you? So, yeah, that's as simple as it gets. Another prime example is Jax. You're worried about his 50-50s. This motherfucker staggers and then throws you, or he staggers and then goes for an Abari attempt and probably stuffs your normals because you reacted too late or something like that. Like, mix-ups are a form of pressure. You know, like Gearus or Aaron Black, you know what I mean, or Terminator and stuff like that. It is a form of pressure. Another form of pressure that I'm just gonna add in there is, well, I want to say restands and resets or an idea of pressure, because in a sense, like, you're still pressuring the opponent when like they're getting restand or they get resetted because they kind of have to guess and stuff like that. But I mean, that's an honorable mention in my opinion. So other than that, hopefully you guys understand what pressure is now. And I think that's it. I could be wrong though. Somebody let me know in the comment section down below if there's something else that I missed. And if I did miss it, you can, you know, type it down in the comment section down below to inform people of what else could potentially be pressure. But these are the main common things that are considered pressure, or they are pressure. So I hope that this video helped you guys out. But without further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.